Gentlemen, welcome back to another video. My name is Stryker.
My name is Luba.
Now, today, topic of the video is a factory reset woman.
We're getting into Metaverse, or what?
Oh, you never know. But I use this word more and more these days with guys on our calls, and for some reason it popped into my head when I'm trying to explain what is the benefit of going over to some of these other countries, right? And you guys know that I've mentioned it before about other countries that have lower socioeconomics, where there is a government that's not going to pick up the slack for a woman's decisions in life, such as like they do in the West. So a woman has to be responsible for her own decisions, whether it's to have children, whether it's to go out and get a job, whether it's to get education, whatever it is, in order for herself to survive. And in particular other countries where there is a lower socioeconomic, she needs a man in order to make sure her life runs smoothly. So when I say what you will be getting if you meet a woman from one of these countries, for us it's Ukraine because that's where our company was based, what you're going to be getting is you're going to be getting what I refer to as a factory reset woman. All right, so someone has poked that little pin in the back of the modem, all the settings are gone, and it's back to factory default. I want to talk about this in this video here because I think it's an interesting view on it. Okay, so what you have to understand is when it comes to, say, Western, or say Western women, but when it comes to Western women, right? So they have been living in this world for their entire lives, in this world that they live in. For example, she understands that the government will pick up the pieces if she makes wrong decisions in her life. She understands that if she meets a man and stays with him for a few years, she can take him to court and take half of his wealth. She can ruin his businesses, she can do all this stuff. There's a whole raft of support that she can get that is not available in other countries, right? She also understands that if she becomes overweight, that not only will it be accepted, but it can also be celebrated now, which is absolutely just mind-boggling, that being overweight and being a burden on the medical system is celebrated, right? So all of these things in her life have shaped this woman to be who she is. This is the reason why a lot of men, they're basically throwing in the towel when it comes to Western women. They've had enough. They can't deal with it anymore. When I talk about a factory reset woman, it's not technically factory reset, but it's reset to what most men, the majority of men, want in a woman. So when it comes to, say, a Ukrainian woman, she hasn't lived that life. She hasn't been down at the salon, getting her hair done, listening to the other woman cackling about how much money they made by taking her ex to court and how now she has the kids and he has to pay for child support. She hasn't been exposed to that lifestyle. She understands that the government really doesn't give a shit about her. If she pops out 6 kids, well, she's on her own. She's got to figure out a way to feed those children. Otherwise, these children are going to be malnourished, starved. She's not going to be able to go to work when she can because there's no free daycare or anything like that. So you're getting a woman that has not been exposed her entire life to that way of living. So when we say factory reset, it's like you have a woman that most men would consider to be acceptable, right? In the West, women have been told that they are something, but also it's not just that, it's the fact that they can get so much attention in the West, right? And so they've completely been totally misled. Regardless of who they are, what they look like, and all that sort of stuff, and I think that it's starting to catch up on them a little bit. One of the biggest arguments that I get is that when you meet a woman, and yes, she's this a woman that is not a westernized woman, as soon as she moves over to a Western country, she will become westernized. So I was explaining it that her whole life she has been brought up a particular way to have a particular belief system. And that's ingrained in her. It's very difficult for a woman who's 30 years old, for example, to all of a sudden forget everything that she has learned, right? It doesn't work that way. Now, over time, if she was exposed to, say, the wrong type of people in your own country, it would be sort of like death by 1,000 paper cuts. Slowly, she would be convinced by these women because maybe she would want to fit in with them. And she realized that, oh, wow, there's a system here and I can take advantage of it. And all these women have too. And they've, their lives look perfect from the outside. And look at them on Instagram and all that sort of stuff. And she may go towards that particular narrative with these women.
But we did this video and we say that it is on the guy's control, like where
Exactly.
they're gonna let their woman be.
Exactly. And if I know this for a fact, we've heard this from ladies that we know. I've heard it from your own mouth as well. And that is that, yes, when these women go over to the United States or to a Western country and they hang out, and I've heard it from you from the United States and when you went over to UK, they go over there and they hang out with women who have the Western mentality. They are mortified and disgusted about the way that they dress, they look, they act. They certainly do not act like ladies, and they would not want to be part of it. So they would always want to seek out people that are like them, not blend in with things that they find utterly and totally disgusting, and hope that that hopefully they'll accept me. They will be disgusted by it, right? And I've heard this from you, and I've heard this from others as well. Is that it's so different from being feminine, right? And take care of the man. Make sure the man doesn't run off and cheat. Because in the West, like if the man runs off and cheats, well, you can just take all of his money. So the man is on the back foot 100% of the time in the Western world. So you want to say something?
Yeah, when my family lives in New York for 35 years, it's my uncle and aunt. And when I came there first time in 2011, for me it was a big surprise why they communicate only with like Slavic people. And even though they already lived there for 30 years or whatever, 25 back then. And then like I came second time and third time and fourth time, because every time I go to US, I definitely come to see them. And it's interesting to that now I get it. Only now I get it, that yes, of course they have some friends, like, and she's living there, but she always with a nice manicure, she's always like having her dresses and her earrings and her braces, like everything, like always look very, very nice and very feminine, and she's a good housewife, and she's working, but also as a side, like she decided to do a little like a show with her friend as a cooking show. And for me it was surprising, like why she doesn't, like why all people speak Russian, like why there's nobody. And now when we're here in Spain, and when I like we're already here for almost a year, and yes, and it's not even because of the language barrier, like I don't feel it, but I'm closer to like Ukrainian people and like Slavic people here to become friends, and like because we have same values, same views, same understanding, like even we go picnic, like we understand what to, like what what food like we should bring, and like what, then we don't have to discuss it. So I was not blaming my relatives, but I was kind of like questioning why is that. And I understand that now I'm doing the same, because people from a different culture, like they're different, and not everything I accept. This like here in Spain a lot of like fake popas, and like many different things that for me it's like really looks strange, and I don't want to get involved with that. So Stryker is right, like it's on you who you introduce your woman to and who you let her communicate with.
So it's very difficult. Someone has been exposed to a particular belief system and culture their whole life. Doesn't matter if it's a man or woman, doesn't matter. To try and wash that out of them will take a lot of time, a lot of exposure to something that's completely different, and people convincing them that their way is better. Now, if the people that are convincing, say, a Ukrainian woman who takes care of herself, who looks thin because she knows she has to look good because she wants to make sure that her man doesn't leave and stays and takes care of her, if she's been convinced that it's better to be overweight, like the cackling woman at the hair salon, like it's I don't know, like she'd have to be out of her mind, wouldn't she? She'd have to go, okay, yeah, well, I can be overweight and be happy, like these annoying women that are gossiping and talking absolute garbage about men that they've had sex with. I just don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think so. I think the chances of it happening is very, very slim. So, I don't know, I want to make this video because I talk about a factory reset woman, and it's not technically a factory reset woman, but she's been reset to the factory settings that most men
Looking for
and would appreciate.
Agree.
Okay, see ya.